Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the second session on the teaching methodologies. और हम रिकेप करते हैं कि प्रीवियस सेशन में हमने क्या डिस्कस किया था। तो अगर हम अपनी पेज आप टू पर जाएंगे कि इस लेक्चर में हम डिस्कस क्या करने जा रहे हैं। तो हमारा टॉपिक जो आज है दिस इज प्रीवियस सेशन में डिस्कस किया था टीचिंग स्ट्रेटजीज, जिसमें हम बोथ क्लिनिकल सेटिंग एज वेल एज क्लासरूम लेवल पर जो मुख्तलिफ हमारे मेथोडोलॉजीज होते हैं और जो क्लिनिकल जो टीचिंग स्ट्रेटजीज होती हैं उस पर हम बात करेंगे बाय डिस्कसिंग देयर एडवांटेजेस डिसएडवांटेज एज वेल एज देयर की टू सक्सेस। ये मेथड्स हैं जो you can use them when at the classroom type setting, when the students they are sitting in the classroom and we are going to teach them. Among them they have the brainstorming, the case-based small group discussion, computer simulation, demonstration, game and preparing study, large group discussion, question and answer, lecture presentation, role play and self awareness. तो ये सेशन में हमने बात की थी अबाउट द ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, केस बेस्ड स्मॉल ग्रुप डिस्कशन, कंप्यूटर सिमुलेशन, डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन। इस सेशन में हम बात करेंगे स्टार्ट करेंगे फ्रॉम द गेम and then we will go towards the independent study and others. So this is the slide जहाँ से ये जो है दिस इज वन ऑफ दो स्ट्रेटेजी जो बहुत कम यूज होती है, बट इसकी यूजेज के बहुत फायदे होते हैं और जो हम आगे हम स्लाइड में डिस्कस करेंगे। लेकिन इसमें होता क्या है कि दिस गेम स्ट्रेटेजी और दिस मेथोडोलॉजी दैट इज यूज्ड टू ब्रिंग कंपटीशन, participation, drills and feedback into the learning experience as a motivated opportunity for application of principles. So the basic concept of this strategy is just to bring competition, जिसमें हम स्टूडेंट्स को दो या तीन या इस तरह के मोर देन तीन ग्रुप में डिवाइड करते हैं और फिर इसमें हम एक सेम ऑब्जेक्टिव सबको दे देते हैं और फिर देखते हैं कि हु विल बी द विनर। तो बाकी जो स्मॉल ग्रुप डिस्कशन की या जो हमारे ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग की या बाकी जो हमने इससे पहले डिस्कस की, उसमें विनर और लूजर वाली जो है कहानी नहीं थी। इसमें जो है दे विल बी क्योंकि कंपटीशन होगा और उन सबको सेम ऑब्जेक्टिव होगा, कौन जो है इसको पहले हल करेगा, कौन इसको सॉल्व करेगा पहले, तो मुख्तलिफ जो इसकी फिर हम फिर एक इसकी प्लानिंग करते हैं। लेकिन there will be a loser and winner in this type of strategy. So the advantages of this strategy, that is there is actually involvement of the students as there will be competition, so obviously involvement. This can add a regenerate motivation just because they will work in a team, so they will create more and more motivation in them. Similarly, this strategy can promote team learning and collaborative skills. Obviously, that is not as individual competition. This will be a group versus group competition. So that's why those students who are in a group, who are in a team, so they will have to work along with their colleagues, along with their peers. So that's why such strategy they can also promote the team learning and as well as the collaboration between the team members. Similarly, this strategy that also provide a challenge that can lead to confidence and knowing and expressing the material. Obviously, the teachers, the demonstrator, that is being absorbing them. So this will also give them the direct feedback. The results, the judgments will be announced up just immediate after that competition. So that provides direct feedback as well. And apart from all these benefits, obviously this strategy that will create a fun learning environment, and the students will be also motivated to be learn and to participate in such tasks and such events. So that's why that's a very good source of motivation for the learning, and they will also bring them in confidence as well in them. But on the other hand, as there will be team versus team, there will be group versus group, there will be some members in a team. So if we talk about the disadvantage of the game, so it can create in-group, out-group feeling as well. Suppose we have six students in a group, and five of them are of one type and one is just of the other type. But it is very difficult for that one person to be resemble itself to the other. That's why there may be that in-group, out-group feeling in this situation. So that's why the group making there should be between such groups in which their chemistry, they all are just resembling and matching with each other. So can demotivate those who are not competitive by nature. Some students that don't want to participate as they're not competitive by nature, or they are just because they are just have a fear of losing. So that's why they don't have that confidence. So if you think on one side, this strategy is one of the best for them, but usually they will be not competitive by nature, so that will again lose the competition, and that will maybe a source of demotivation for them. Similarly, this strategy can also create some feelings of inadequacy in those who are not skilled as against when they are playing against those who are very skilled. Similarly, it can discourage the creativity if the format is very rigid and the focus is really strongly on winning. So obviously, then there is no chance and no time for the creativity, so that may discourage the creativity in this. So what we can do to handle all these problems and these negative situations? So choose relevant games at a appropriate level that can be reasonably expected to achieve the learning level. So the planning and execution is all matter a lot. So not your objectives to have to हासिल करने के लिए we can use this type of strategy. So ये जो है कि specific learning objective के लिए जिनको ये appropriate उसी को ही जो है ये इस strategy के लिए use की जानी चाहिए. Similarly, introduce the game and make the objectives very clear. Give clear and thorough directions. Create a friendly versus cutthroat mentality. Cutthroat mentality का मतलब ये है कि स्टूडेंट्स या लर्नर्स में एक ऐसी मेंटेलिटी अगर क्रिएट कर जाती है कि जिसमें वो ये नहीं देखते कि वो दूसरे को क्या नुकसान दे रहे हैं, बल्कि सिर्फ उनके जहन में वो जो जीत का वो कहते हैं ना कि जीत का भूत जो सवार होना वो ये बिकॉज दे हैव टू विन द कंपटीशन और उसके उस जीत के लिए उनको अगर कुछ भी करना पड़े दे विल डू दैट. सो इस एक्सपीरियंस इज नॉट द कट स्पोर्ट एक्चुअली. एक अच्छी बात यह है कि दे आर मोटिवेट टू विन but that should be very positive and that should be very friendly. If this cutthroat mentality is a negative sense, so obviously then they don't care about the manners, they don't care about the ethics, they don't care about the rules and regulation, they don't care the discipline. So they उनकी जेहन में सिर्फ ये हो कि भाई they have to reach the goal and they have to win. इसलिए जो है there should be a fully versus cutthroat mentality. And ये भी जो है कि do not put down loser to allow others to do so. जो इसमें होगा यही होगा फिर इसमें से जो है obviously आने तक की सिचुएशन जो है आ सकती है. There will be obviously discipline जो है violate हो सकती है. इस तरह की जो है टीचर्स should create a very clean respectful mentality. Do not take sides or show partiality because इससे discouragement मिलती है, demotivation मिलती है students को. उनको they will be discouraged and demotivate अगर एक टीचर एक टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, उसको मोटिवेट कर रहा है, उसकी या जजमेंट जो है उसमें वो जो है इनइक्वलिटी कर रहा है, सही गलत जजमेंट कर रहा है. इससे होगा क्या कि ये जो स्ट्रेटेजी है ये उसके नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स बहुत आएंगे. That's why the teacher should be neutral to all the groups, to all the parties in that which is involved in this competition, and keep a handle on things. Obviously, this is very important in such uh, situations as we have discussed in the previous stage. When there is active learning, PBL, when there is small ECG, small group discussion, brainstorming, RTM, and when the large group discussion, we will discuss in the coming slide. Discipline is very important. If let's say discipline is not there, then we can, as a teacher, we are unable to achieve our goals or objectives. The next strategy, that is the independent study. This is that methodology जिसमें students जो है completely खुद जो है involved होती हैं, engaged, no involvement of the demonstrator or the teacher. So these strategies for the learning, they are designed to enhance and support other instruction activities. Learning activity is typically done entirely by the individual learner or group of learners using resource material. Group of learners mean स्टूडेंट ऐसे होते हैं जो ग्रुप डिस्कशन में बहुत ज्यादा जो है सीखते हैं. When they study alone, उनको इतना जो है जरूरी और नहीं सीख पाते जितना वो दूसरे को सुनते हैं, दूसरे को देखते हैं, दूसरे से डिस्कस करते हैं, दूसरे को ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, सो वो ज्यादा जल्दी सीख जाते हैं. तो स्पेसिफिकली ये ग्रुप लर्नर जो है ग्रुप बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स भी होंगे जो ऐसे होंगे जो चाहते हैं कि दे शुड डिस्कस इन अ ग्रुप. तो ग्रुप स्टडी में जो है वो बहुत आसानी के साथ सीख जाते हैं. और जो लॉन्ग स्टडी है, इंडिविजुअल स्टडी है, उसमें या तो वो बहुत टाइम देने के बाद भी नहीं सीख पाती या वो टाइम नहीं दे सकते, तो जल्दी जो है उसमें बोर हो जाते हैं. So we've been using computer web-based technology in the previous decades. So there were no such science and technology, so mostly journals and books, they were the source of independent study. But nowadays, as we all have all the books in our pocket, in our tablets, in our phones and laptops, so that is one of the best that to carry all the these pages. So that we begin using the computer or research technology. There are many advantages of the independent study, and among them, foster independent learning skills. It allows the learners to progress at their own rate, as it is individual study. Security person will just learn according to their own style, according to their own way. If they are weak, so they will learn a concept, they will just have a term. So they will have उनको क्या होगा, उनकी जो concept होगी वो 1 hour 2 or 3 में होगी. लेकिन अगर कुछ genius है, so अगर वो 30 minutes study with the so they can have a better insight of the environment. So it means it allows the learner to work at their own rate. It enhances other learning experiences with provides opportunity for learning to obtain prerequisite knowledge. ये बहुत जरूरी है, specifically there is a very complex topic of some observation or demonstration of critical skills, critical procedure हो रही है. So students जो है पहले से उस procedure के बारे में, उस situation के, उस patient के बारे में, उस topic के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत अगर पढ़ ले, तो जब वो वहाँ पर ऑब्जर्व करने जाएंगे तो उसको लर्निंग में बहुत आसानी होगी. तो ये जब पहले से जो है नॉलेज बेस करना, इसको हम से दैट prerequisite knowledge. It allows for that flexible individual schedules are self-pacing. That's up to the students. Their scheduling, their studying during the day in the library of the college or the university. They can have their hours of study late night in their hostel, in their rooms, in their houses. So it depends on, it's they are very flexible schedule, and it's all depend on the students कि अपनी ही स्पीड, अपनी ही स्टाइल के मुताबिक जो है, अपनी ही रूटीन के मुताबिक जो है वो अपना ये शेड्यूल जो है बना सकते हैं. If we talk about the disadvantage of this strategy, so it may be disconnected from the immediate objectives. Obviously, there may be no direct supervision, so that's why it is that this connection between the objective as well as the other materials which are required for the achieving those objectives. और ये बहुत उसमें होता है कि सबसे बड़ी डिसएडवांटेज ये होता है कि प्रॉपर मटेरियल जो है ये समटाइम दे आर अनअवेलेबल, या इफ दे आर अवेलेबल लेकिन उनकी सिलेक्शन जो होती है वो ऐसे मटेरियल, ऐसी रेफरेंस बुक और ऐसी जगहों से पढ़ते हैं जो जिससे और ऑब्जेक्टिव जो है जो वो आउट ऑफ द वे जा रहे होते हैं और जो ऑब्जेक्टिव से अचीव नहीं होगा। तो ये एक होता है कि इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स टू आइडेंटिफाई एंड एक्सेस एप्रोप्रिएट मटेरियल। So this is then the responsibility of us as a teacher जो है, हम जब स्टूडेंट्स को कोई टॉपिक जो है उनको दे देते हैं, so we should have the explanation elaboration of the extra learning कि ये टॉपिक जो है कौन से बुक से जो बनाया क्या है, उनको कुछ आर्टिकल्स जो है हम दे दें, बिकॉज आर्टिकल्स दे आर द वेरी बेस्ट वे टू हैव दैट अप टू डेट नॉलेज, अप टू डेट हेल्प ऑफ एनी टॉपिक ऑफ एनी प्रॉब्लम। तो उनको जो है हम रेलिवेंट लिटरेचर जो है ये उनको रिसर्च लिटरेचर उनको दे सकते हैं तो specifically if they have the systematic use and meta-analysis, so they are very one of the top superior evidence for any topic. So that's why maybe the students may don't have that info about what the meta-analysis is. So इस तरह की जो full articles जो है which are basically the systematic use of the meta-analysis ये हम उनको दे रहे हैं। उनको हम बुक्स जो है पीडीएफ में प्रोवाइड करें जो रेलिवेंट बुक्स है, उनको हम कुछ वेबसाइट्स के लिंक्स दे दें कि यू कैन read and you can study these topic in detail in these websites। कुछ उनको यूट्यूब लिंक हम दे दें कि भाई यू कैन वॉच अबाउट दिस टॉपिक इन डिटेल अबाउट इन दिस वीडियो, या कुछ इस तरह के और भी बहुत सारे मटेरियल जो है आप उसको नोट्स हम उनको दे सकते हैं। तो इंडिपेंडेंट स्टडी का बहुत बड़ा रोल है टू अचीव द गोल्स, एंड दिस इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द टीचर कि जो है उसमें क्या करें कि उसमें ऐसी मटेरियल उनको दे, ऐसे उनको लेक्चर्स दे, उनको ऐसी बुक्स दे, उनको ऐसी लिटरेचर दे जो उससे एप्रोप्रिएट ऑब्जेक्टिव जो है उसे हासिल हो सके। Computer based materials are time consuming and expensive to develop and may lack complexity needed for more advanced learners. Obviously, they may be a very time consuming and expensive to purchase such high quality articles or to have that gadget which can be used for more advanced skills. So, as a teacher, what we can do to have this as a good source of learning for the students. Choose activities carefully to ensure relevance and connectivity and provide guidance about resources and how to locate and access them. As we discussed in the previous slide, that this is our responsibility as a teacher कि हम इनको ये सारी जो है कि हर एक टॉपिक के साथ जो है हम इसको एक्स्ट्रा रिसोर्सेज दें, उनको वेबसाइट्स लिंक्स दें, उनको वीडियोस लिंक्स दें, उनको हम जो है ये आर्टिकल्स दें, लिटरेचर दें, ताकि जो है वो बेहतर अंदाज से इस टॉपिक को जो है समझ सकें, उसको पढ़ सकें और इसको जो है इसके कंसेप्ट को क्लियर हो सके। This is another strategy which is opposite of the SGD. इसको शॉर्ट में जो है LGD कहा जाता है, लार्ज ग्रुप डिस्कशन, उसको SGD कहा जाता है। और दोनों में सिर्फ फर्क यही है कि वहाँ पे 5 से 10 बंदे जो है स्टूडेंट्स लेवल पे इन सिंगल ग्रुप, यहाँ पे जो है हम पूरी क्लास को भी ले सकते हैं। यहाँ पे दिस इज अ नीड फॉर डिस्कशन, large group discussion, but as we discussed previously, there are many problems discipline wise, ethically, and so that's SGD is much more superior and has more benefits over this LGD. Simplifies the art of seeking information and stimulating thinking elaboration with all levels of human reasoning to achieve a given objective. There are many benefits as we discussed in the previous sessions when we were discussing the brainstorming and the institute. The group discussion has a lot of advantages, like it creates high level of confidence, it creates the politeness because the student have to listen to others, then we have to observe the others and we have to talk in a manner, in a polite way, so it will create politeness in the students. It creates general awareness about some topic. Obviously, they will be a leader of a single group, so it may also lead, it may also provide the leadership skills, it may create the leadership skills. It promotes the teamwork, it enhances the listening ability, it enhances their problem solving skills, उनकी जो clinical decision making है या problem solving skills है, ये उसमें enhance होगी. It also enhance the social skills and the positive behavior in the students. And obviously, it's a discussion, so they have to talk, they have to listen, they have to observe in the group. So that's why LGD or EGD both they are a good source of enhancing the communication skills. Advantages of the LGD here puts the burden of learning on the students and increases the learner involvement. As we have discussed in the previous session about the city and the brainstorming, इसमें जो है वो एक जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट अब स्टूडेंट होती है जिसमें से वो एक्चुअली इन्वॉल्व होता है वो अपनी ओपिनियन जो है वो इसमें पेश कर देता है provide both learner and teacher immediate feedback. This is one of the best benefit and advantage of this. Not only this, others group ACD and the brainstorming as well. It is useful for guiding learners to higher level of thinking and inquiry. Provides valuable clues about learner motivation and how to best facilitate learning. Help students identify and build on pre-existing knowledge. What are the disadvantages? Can be time consuming, relies on learning preparation and willingness to participate, can lead to a dominant controlling the floor to the exclusion of fuller participation, cannot ensure full participation within a large group. So I will skip all these disadvantages as we have discussed in detail when we were discussing AGT. So the mostly the advantage and disadvantage they are similar to the both strategies. The only difference between them is the number of students in a single group. In AGT, the number of students they are not more than 10. There may be 5 to 10 students in a single group. But here in the large group discussion, we may check the whole class as a single group. Otherwise, the precautions, how to control them, the advantage and disadvantages, these both are similar to the group strategies. So how we can, what we can do to control this and to overcome all these disadvantages. Develop questions related to learning activities designed to stimulate thinking and move learners to the next level. And these questions should be like that. You should avoid such questions which have a very few correct options. And if there is a very less chance of debate, they are very straightforward and short answer questions. So we should avoid such questions. Use open-ended question with more than one right answer. Then ask learner to think critically rather than recite facts. Just we explain one of the example that which type of hip joint it is. So obviously the students will answer that it is a ball circle. So that is a very straightforward end of the session. So we should have a very broad topic in which there is way of a chance of choice. So we should avoid such questions which are very close and question. So the question should be open-ended and not only open-ended, but these questions that should be such questions which there is a chance of debate. Have a clear question sequence, and this thing is very important. As we are dealing with a number of students, we are a large number of students, but there should be a question sequence, and every student participation should be involved. And as we discussed earlier in the previous slide, there should be discipline, and without discipline, nothing is achieved. So if we have discipline, then we will get proper sequence for all these questions. Develop group facilitation skills to manage the interaction, time and process effectively, paying attention to both task and group interaction. Now, this is that strategy which is most commonly used to teach the undergrad students at the classroom level. This is the presentation, the lecture, and that lecture mostly it is in the form of the PowerPoint presentation. So this is primarily a didactic presentation of information usually to a large group and often the use of audio-visual to transmit information. The advantages of this strategy that it can be effective in providing new information and coexisting information to a large heterogeneous group in a short period of time. Heterogeneous group mean when there may be uh, there may be different and the way of learning, there may be different the way of grades, and somehow in such we may have different discipline students as well we are discussing a large number. So that is a very best way to address them when there is a large number of that students. It's useful for conveying the underlying concepts, principles, and systems. It may stimulate learner interest and interesting may be repeated for the future use. What are the teaching advantages of this lecture presentation? Places the burden of promoting learning freely on the teacher, unless it is integrated with other techniques, especially versus learning. So we are discussing the learning strategy. In the start, we discussed a number of studies. In all of them, mostly they were the actual learning strategies, in which such like the PBL, that SUD, the LUD, or that brainstorming, which gave us actually involvement of the students. This is one of the big advantage of this lecture of this presentation, and when the teacher is completely involved, but there is no such involvement of the students. They have to listen, they have just watch, they have to observe what the teacher is saying. So it places all the burden to promote of learning fully under that teacher. Maybe presented at the teacher's level of understanding rather than at the learners, and that is one of the points which we have to handle. We have to travel at the pace of our students. As we have the understanding of that topic, but students don't have the understanding, so we have to travel parallel to them, and we have that feedback if they are getting me or not. If they are not getting me, and I am going and forward and forward and forward, so they will be end to the curriculum, but they will be no achievement of the objectives by the students. So if we are unable to handle and overcome this disadvantage, so there may be a lot of problems and with this case. Of course, limited opportunities for assessment and feedback, as there is only debate and discussion and speech by the teacher. There is no such chance of assessment and feedback can become a crutch for teachers who do not really know the material thoroughly, and as well as it may be also a problem for those teachers and those faculty members who do not know how to make a powerful slide, who do not know how to make constructive and fruitful slide, or it may be a problem for those who are best at demonstration, quick the skill, but there is some hesitation when they are pressing the students when they are typing in front of them. So might have this will be this is some problems, especially if the teachers they are have no such large experience and they are graduated and they are coming towards the teaching line. So in the start, there is a lot of problems that I face while teaching with this case. The other disadvantage with this presentations type teaching is can lead to learner overload, as it is common for teachers to include too much information in too short time of time. Sometimes it's very difficult for the students, and obviously that might create boredom for the learner. It discourages the students from learning. It decreases their interest in the topic. Provides little opportunity for learning independent thinking can lead to boredom, as we discussed. If there too much information, if there is too much, we consider prolonged lecture, and if there is high level of info which is understandable by the students, so all these factors will lead to the boredom among the students. have very limited effectiveness in teaching and anything rather than knowledge. So now there are a lot of methods, a lot of tactics through which we can handle all this problem. सबसे पहले तो हमने क्या करने की we have to as a teacher we have to identify which learning abilities are partially or fully best achieved by this method. So here maybe we have a multiple approach while we are teaching a subject. We may have the role play, we may have that game, we have the brainstorming, we may have ECT, we may have lecture presentation, we may have demonstration, because every objective that need a specific strategy. It means that every strategy can be able to in objective. No, this is the one. So that's why as a teacher we have to think that which strategy is more appropriate for which objective. तो सबसे पहले अगर हम चाहते हैं कि इस लेक्चर प्रेजेंटेशन जो है इससे स्टूडेंट्स को कुछ फायदा हो सके और वो लर्न कर सके objective जो है अचीव कर सके. So हमने केयरफुली उन objective के लिए ही जो है ये प्रोसीजर ये स्ट्रेटजी जो अपनानी चाहिए. So identify which learning objectives are partially or fully best achieved by this method. Generally, those at the lower level of thinking, such as knowing or understanding, as opposed to the applying, scientific, and evaluating, which are the high level of thinking and high level of subdomain in the cognitive domain of the group taxonomy. Similarly, as a teacher, we should avoid the temptation of overload, limit objectives to keep track for a 1 hour time frame. As a teacher, we should develop a solid introduction, body, and closer to the topic. We should develop a concrete example of major principle. We should use signpost. For example, there are 3 main points. This is a key finding. The most important thing to remember is and conclusion and transition. Summarize periodically and in the conclusion, and specifically here is end of the lecture. So there should be a summary, or there should be a recap of what was discussed previously when the teachers come to the class, and we will start to discuss the topic which is partially taught in the previous session. So there should be a recap what has been taught previously. Spice it with the analogies, stories, thoughts, startling statistics, vivid language, etc. to make it interesting and to make it very interactive. Develop quality supporting audiovisual aids, and we should know how to use them and for any needed equipment. We should avoid overloading slides with information and talking to a screen rather than to learners. So we should have maintained that eye-to-eye contact. We should have to talk to our students. Sometimes it could create boredom in the class when the teacher is just looking to the slide and he is reading what is written here and nothing. He is not looking to the students. So obviously there will be a lack of discipline in the class. Be aware of what and demonstrate effective presentation skills, including gestures, posture, tone of voice, talking with rather than act, making eye contact, providing distracting etc. Integrate lecture with other more interactive techniques in the session, varying the pace every 10 to 15 minutes to avoid exceeding attention spans, and we should have to manage time to allow for questions and then make conclusion. So this is the next strategy which we can use while with teaching our health science students at the grand level and undergrad level at the classroom level. This is the role play. And this is very important, and this should go parallel with during the presentation, during the presentation. Suppose if there is a discussion of some particular procedure, so the teacher may instruct some students to be a patient, and the teacher some other should be instructed to be therapist about the others. तो उससे होगा क्या कि जो प्रोसीजर वहाँ पे बयान की है, सो दे विल जस्ट एक थेरापिस्ट, एक डॉक्टर जो वहाँ पर है और पेशेंट पर कराएंगे, सो बाकी जो स्टूडेंट दे विल ऑब्जर्व देम। तो ये जो रूल प्ले है, ये बहुत इफेक्टिव होता है to learn about some critical skills. So usually we are demonstrate and use it very regularly at the clinical setup. But if we are teaching at the classroom level type setting, so then the role play जो है we can have in our presentations. So one or more participants adopt a specified rule and try to behave in ways characteristic of the person in that role. And medical education often revolves around a specified clinical scenario. So there are advantages to this role play, and it involve actually uh, students are actually involved in such procedures because they have it. There's the involvement. Adds variety, reality, and specificity to the learning experience. It also develops problem solving and verbal expression skills. Similarly, it provides practice to build skills before real world application and when real experience are not really available. It enables learners to experiment in a safe environment with behaviors which strike them as potentially useful and to identify behaviors which are not useful. Similarly, this role play can also provide an entirely new perspective on a situation, on a scenario, and it can develop insights about feelings and relationships. It also provides teacher immediate feedback about the learner's understanding and ability to apply concepts. This role play can improve the likelihood of transfer of learning from the classroom to the real world. And the same way, there may be some problems when we are using this role play, and these disadvantages in college they are like this role play can put pressure on learner to perform, which can create embarrassment and even resistance if he is unable to execute. If you don't know about the procedure, yeah, if you don't have the idea of what I have to say about that, so if he is um, unable to elaborate on what has been instructed by the teacher, so it may create embarrassment to the point of the use. Depends heavily on learners' imagination and willingness to participate. Obviously, there should be volunteer participation in this role play strategy. And of course, participation will create a lot of forum. So the teacher should, when he is going to select a person, so he should know that anybody who is voluntarily to be a part of this role play, that should be, we can control this problem by selecting those are voluntarily or willingly able to be part of the service. Can engender strong emotions related to past experiences and future success. You can make focus unless with that your plan and orchestrate and monitor. अगर हम उसकी जो पहले से जो है it is not planned and if it is not orchestrated properly and monitored and just before the start of this play, so that may create a lot of problem. But especially if the students will lack with they will be lacking of focus of students and then it is being mismanaged. Similarly, the other disadvantage of the study play are can reinforce ineffective behaviors, strategies, if performance and execution is not observed by the knowledgeable person who provides some required support. Can be unpredictable in terms of outcomes, can be time consuming. Obviously, it might depend on the because there will be discussion as well. There is unpredictability about the outcomes, so therefore it may be a very time consuming study. As a teacher, what we can do, so we should have to establish a safe environment for learners to experiment and make mistakes without sanction. Use realistic situations that relate learning objectives. Not only will learners have adequate knowledge and skill to execute what is being requested, provide clear direction and specific time limits, observe performance for multiple groups of head children, conduct a feedback debriefing session with the discuss. This is very important. So if we have a debriefing session after the role play, so उससे होगा क्या कि इसमें ये तो होगा कि जो उन्होंने अभी रोल के जरिए बयान किया है, सबसे पहले जो है एक डायरेक्ट फीडबैक जो है टीचर देगा, उसके ऑथेंटिसिटी पर बात करेगा कि जो उन्होंने कहा, जो उन्होंने दिखाया, उसमें कि कहाँ कहाँ पर जो है मॉडिफिकेशन की जरूरत है, कहाँ पर करेक्शन की जरूरत है, कहाँ कहाँ पर जो है अप्रिशिएशन की जरूरत है। तो ये एक इस एक पर जो है ब्रीफिंग सेशन जो होनी चाहिए, और ये एक sometimes it may take time, but it will help a lot in the students to have a better insight of such topic or such concept. So that is the next strategy, the self-awareness exercise test, which will be discussed in the next session. Up till now, that was the end of the second session. We will discuss this self-awareness exercise test, which is actually the last of the classroom level. And then in the next session, we will start about the teaching strategies which will be, we can apply them at the clinical setting. Thank you so much for all of you.